The man in the snow. The snow fell heavily over the city, covering the streets in white. Emma Carter pulled her coat tighter around her body as she hurried home from work. It had been a long day at the hospital. Patients had been arriving non-stop, and her feet ached from standing behind the reception desk for 12 hours. All she wanted was a hot shower and her bed. The streetlights cast long shadows across the empty sidewalks. Most people had already gone home because of the storm. Emma turned into a narrow alley. It was a shortcut she often used. Halfway through the alley, she stopped. Someone was there. A man lay against the brick wall, motionless. For a second, she thought he was drunk. Then she noticed the blood. A lot of blood. Her heart skipped a beat. "Hello?" she called. No answer. She moved closer. The man was dressed in an expensive black coat. Snow covered his dark hair. Blood stained his shirt. He looked unconscious. Emma should have called the police. She should have walked away. Instead, she knelt beside him. "Sir," his eyes opened. Dark, cold, dangerous. They locked onto hers immediately. He looked like a predator waking from sleep. "Don't call," he whispered. His voice was rough. "Don't call who?" Emma asked. "The police." Emma swallowed. Normal people didn't beg strangers not to call the police. But he looked close to death, and Emma had never been able to ignore someone in need. She carefully opened his coat. A gunshot wound. Fresh. Bad. Very bad. "Oh my God." The man grabbed her wrist. His grip was surprisingly strong. "Help me." Just 2 words. Yet something in his voice made her pause. There was no fear, only determination. Emma looked around the empty alley. No one else was there. Her apartment was only a block away. It was a terrible idea, a horrible idea. But she couldn't leave him here to die. "Can you stand?" she asked. The man nodded weakly. Together they struggled to their feet. He was huge, tall, broad, heavy. Most of his weight rested on her shoulders as they slowly made their way through the snow. Every step left drops of blood behind them. By the time they reached her apartment building, Emma was exhausted. The climb to the 3rd floor felt impossible. Finally, they reached her door. She unlocked it. The man stumbled inside, then collapsed onto her floor. Emma quickly locked the door behind them. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Only the sound of heavy breathing filled the room. Then Emma got to work. She cleaned the wound, wrapped it, stopped the bleeding. The stranger never complained, never cried out, even when she cleaned the gunshot wound. Most grown men would have screamed. He remained silent, watching her, studying her, as if trying to understand why she was helping him. Hours later, he finally spoke. "Why?" Emma looked up. "What? Why help me?" She shrugged. "You were hurt." His gaze sharpened. "Most people would have walked away. Maybe. But I didn't." For the first time, something changed in his eyes. Respect. Small, barely visible. But it was there. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma." He nodded slowly. "Lorenzo." Emma repeated it silently. Lorenzo. The name suited him. Strong, dangerous, powerful. Outside, the snowstorm continued. Inside the apartment, an uneasy silence settled between them. Emma had a feeling her life had just changed forever. She just didn't know how much. Chapter 2. A Dangerous Guest. Emma barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she remembered the gunshot wound, the blood, the cold look in Lorenzo's eyes. When morning arrived, sunlight filtered through her curtains. She walked into the living room. Lorenzo was awake, standing, looking out the window. His broad shoulders filled the room. For someone who had almost died the night before, he looked surprisingly strong. "You should be resting," Emma said. "I'm fine." He wasn't. She could see the pain in his movements, but arguing seemed pointless. Lorenzo suddenly turned. "Do you live alone?" Emma frowned. "Yes." His eyes scanned the apartment, taking in every detail. Every exit, every window, like a soldier preparing for battle. Before Emma could ask why, Lorenzo's phone vibrated. Emma hadn't even realized he had one. He answered immediately. His expression darkened. How close? A pause. Then another. Finally, he ended the call. What happened? Emma asked. Lorenzo looked directly at her. They found me. Fear crawled down her spine. Who? My enemies. The words were calm, too calm, as if he were discussing the weather. Emma suddenly realized something. This wasn't a criminal. This wasn't a gang member. This was someone much bigger, someone powerful, someone dangerous. A knock sounded at the door. 3 sharp taps. Lorenzo instantly pulled Emma behind him. His entire body became tense, predatory. Ready? Another knock, then a voice. Boss? Lorenzo relaxed. Slightly. He opened the door. 2 men entered, both dressed in black, both armed, both immediately lowering their heads respectfully. Boss. Emma's stomach tightened. Boss. The word explained everything. These men weren't friends. They were soldiers. The taller man looked relieved. We've been searching all night. I'm alive, Lorenzo replied. Obviously. The second man handed him a black bag. Inside were clean clothes. Cash. A handgun. Emma stared at the weapon. The reality of the situation hit her. Hard. She had brought a dangerous man into her home. A man with armed followers. A man with enemies. A man whose life seemed built on violence. The taller man noticed her. Who's she? Lorenzo answered immediately. She's under my protection. The room fell silent. Both men looked surprised. Apparently that meant something. Something important. Emma wished she knew what. Then Lorenzo looked at her. Pack a bag. What? We're leaving. Emma laughed nervously. No. His expression didn't change. I'm serious. So am I. This is my apartment. I'm not going anywhere. Lorenzo stepped closer. His dark eyes locked onto hers. Emma. The way he said her name made her heart race. My enemies know someone helped me. So? They will find you. The room suddenly felt colder. For the first time, Emma understood. Helping Lorenzo had consequences. Dangerous consequences. And those consequences were coming. Fast. Chapter 3. The Escape. By evening, everything changed. Emma stood near the window, watching, waiting, worrying. Below, 2 black SUVs parked across the street. They hadn't moved for over an hour. Neither had the men inside them. Lorenzo noticed immediately. They found us. Emma's stomach dropped. What do? We leave. This time she didn't argue, because now she understood. The danger was real, very real. One of Lorenzo's men rushed into the room. They're moving. Lorenzo grabbed his coat. Time to go. The apartment exploded into action. Weapons appeared. Phones rang. Orders were given. Emma felt completely overwhelmed. This wasn't her world. She was a hospital receptionist, a normal woman, not someone who ran from armed criminals. But reality didn't care what she wanted. A loud crash echoed downstairs. Everyone froze. Then another. They're inside the building, one guard said. Emma's blood ran cold. Lorenzo immediately took her hand. Stay with me. His grip was firm, protective, commanding. The group rushed toward the roof. Footsteps thundered up the stairwell behind them. Their pursuers were coming. Fast, very fast. The rooftop door burst open. Cold wind hit them. Snow swirled through the air. Below them, the city glittered with lights. For one brief second, it looked beautiful. Then gunfire shattered the silence. Bang, 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 Emma screamed. Bullets slammed into metal nearby. Lorenzo pulled her behind an air conditioning unit. The sound of gunfire echoed around them. Chaos erupted. Men shouted, weapons fired. Someone cried out in pain. Emma covered her ears. Her entire body shook. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. Yet it was. Lorenzo crouched beside her. Calm. Focused. Dangerously calm. As if violence was as normal to him as breathing. His eyes scanned the rooftop. Calculating. Planning. Then he spotted something. A neighboring building. Close enough. Maybe. We jump. Emma stared at him. What? We jump. The gap looked enormous. Impossible. Terrifying. I am not doing that. You are. Another bullet struck nearby. Emma nearly screamed. Lorenzo grabbed her hand. Trust me. She looked into his eyes. Strong, confident, certain. For reasons she couldn't explain, she believed him. Together they ran. Toward the edge. Toward the impossible jump. Toward a future Emma never could have imagined. And behind them, death followed close behind. Emma didn't think. She jumped. For one terrifying second, she was suspended in the freezing air. Then she landed hard on the neighboring rooftop. Pain shot through her knees. She stumbled forward. Lorenzo landed beside her with surprising grace despite his injury. Run, he ordered. Gunshots echoed behind them. Emma didn't need to be told twice. They sprinted across the rooftop while snow whipped around them. The cold air burned her lungs. Her legs felt like they would collapse. But fear kept her moving. A metal ladder appeared ahead. One of Lorenzo's men climbed down first. The others followed. Emma looked over the edge and immediately regretted it. The drop made her dizzy. I can't. Yes, you can. Lorenzo's voice was firm, strong, certain. He climbed down first and looked up at her. His hand reached out. Come on. Emma swallowed hard. Then she grabbed the ladder, slowly, carefully, one step at a time. When her feet finally touched the ground, relief flooded through her. A black SUV waited in the alley. The doors flew open. Everyone climbed inside. The vehicle sped away just as shouting erupted behind them. For several minutes, nobody spoke. The only sound was Emma's heavy breathing. She stared out the window at the passing city lights. Her apartment. Her normal life. Everything was gone. Finally, she looked at Lorenzo. What happens now? His dark eyes met hers. You stay alive. That wasn't the answer she wanted, but it was the only one he gave. An hour later, they arrived at a massive estate hidden behind iron gates. Emma stared through the window. The property looked like something from a movie. Stone walls, private security, expensive cars, armed guards. The gates opened automatically. The SUV rolled forward. Her stomach tightened. Who are you? Lorenzo looked out the window. Silent. The vehicle stopped. A line of guards waited outside. Every single one of them lowered their heads when Lorenzo stepped out. Respect, fear, loyalty. Emma saw it clearly. The realization hit her. This wasn't just a criminal. This wasn't just a gang leader. This man ruled something. Something powerful. Something dangerous. Inside the mansion, people immediately rushed toward Lorenzo. Several men began giving updates. Others asked questions. Everyone waited for his decisions. Nobody interrupted him. Nobody challenged him. Nobody dared. Emma stood quietly in the background, feeling completely out of place. Eventually, an older man approached her. He wore a gray suit and looked to be in his 60s. Miss Carter. Emma blinked. You know my name? He smiled politely. Our boss knows everything important. That answer somehow made her even more nervous. My name is Vincent. He extended his hand. I manage most of Mr. Romano's affairs. Romano. The surname sounded familiar, very familiar. Then Emma remembered. A newspaper article, a business magazine. Whispers she had heard before. Lorenzo Romano, the billionaire businessman, the mysterious owner of multiple companies, the man nobody truly knew. Her blood turned cold, because now she understood. The businesses were only the surface. There was something much darker underneath, something hidden, something powerful enough to start wars. Later that night, Emma sat alone in a luxurious guest room. The bed was larger than her entire apartment. The room overlooked the city, yet she felt trapped. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. The door opened. Lorenzo entered. For a moment, neither spoke. Then he noticed her packed duffel bag sitting beside the bed. "You plan to leave?" "Yes." His expression remained unreadable. "You can't." "I can try." "No." The single word carried absolute certainty. Emma stood, anger finally overcoming fear. "You don't own me." Something flashed in his eyes, not anger, respect, because most people never spoke to him that way. "I know. Then let me leave." "They'll kill you." Emma opened her mouth, then closed it again, because deep down she knew he was right. The people hunting him would not care who she was. To them, she was connected to Lorenzo. That made her a target. Lorenzo stepped closer, not threatening, not intimidating, just close enough that she could see the exhaustion hidden behind his cold exterior. This wasn't supposed to happen. Emma frowned. What wasn't? "You." The answer surprised her. For the first time since meeting him, Lorenzo looked almost human, almost vulnerable. "You saved my life." His voice softened. "Nobody has ever done that without wanting something in return." Emma looked away. She didn't know what to say, because the truth was simple. She hadn't wanted anything. She had only wanted to help. Lorenzo studied her quietly. Then he did something unexpected. He smiled. A small smile, barely visible, yet it completely transformed his face. For a second, he looked younger, less dangerous, almost handsome. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She immediately hated herself for noticing. "You should rest," he said. Then he turned toward the door. Before leaving, he stopped. Without looking back, he spoke. "You're safe here, Emma." The door closed behind him. Emma stared at it for a long time. For the first time since meeting Lorenzo Romano, she wasn't afraid of him, and that realization scared her far more than anything else. The next morning began with screaming. Emma rushed into the hallway. Several guards were running toward the front entrance. Something was wrong, very wrong. She followed them. When she reached the main hall, Lorenzo was already there, standing perfectly still, watching. A large wooden box sat in front of the mansion doors. Nobody touched it. Nobody moved. The tension in the room felt suffocating. "What happened?" Emma asked quietly. Vincent appeared beside her. His face was pale. The Moretti family sent a message. The name meant nothing to Emma, but judging by everyone's reaction, it clearly mattered. One guard carefully opened the box. Emma instantly wished she hadn't looked. Inside was a dead raven. Its black feathers were stained with blood. A photograph rested beneath it. Emma's photograph. The picture had been taken outside the hospital weeks ago, long before she met Lorenzo. Someone had been watching. Someone knew exactly who she was. Fear gripped her chest. She looked at Lorenzo. His face had gone completely expressionless. The calm frightened her more than anger ever could. One of the guards spoke nervously. "They know about her." Nobody answered, because everyone already knew what that meant. Lorenzo slowly picked up the photograph. His gaze lingered on it. Then his hand tightened. The picture crumpled instantly. A dangerous silence filled the room. Finally, Lorenzo spoke. His voice was calm. Too calm. "Find out who took this. Boss. Every person involved." His dark eyes turned ice cold. "I want names." The guards immediately scattered. Nobody questioned him. Nobody hesitated. Emma suddenly realized something. The people who threatened Lorenzo disappeared, and judging by the looks on everyone's faces, they never came back. To be continued.